In this video, I review Forever Evil from DC Comics, just released as a trade paperback. It's written by Geoff Johns with art by David Finch and Richard Friend. And I originally read it as the seven-part miniseries when it came out, issue by issue, but I just reread it to get ready for this. And it is something that upon rereading it, it's even better than I remembered. It has some really great action. I really enjoyed it. It's a very big event in the New 52, so definitely something you want to keep track of if you're following the New 52 at all. So it picks up off of the Trinity War event, and if you didn't read Trinity War, you should. I think that's good as well. But just a quick recap of it is basically tensions between several different trios or trinities. So there's the three Justice Leagues. Justice League, Justice League of America, Justice League Dark. They're all in tension with one another for kind of the first time in the New 52. There's also the trinity of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and tensions between that, which comes back to play in Forever Evil, particularly Batman and Wonder Woman's relationship. And then the trinity of Sin, which is Pandora, and if you've been following Pandora, she's the interesting character who was planted from the beginning of New 52. But there's the search for Pandora's box and the original, the Trinity of Sin, and so there's all these trios happening and all this tension. And at the end of the Trinity War, we actually find out that the real Trinity is the three of Earth 3, which is where evil was created and kind of this evil version of Earth. And at the end of Trinity War, we basically get the crime syndicate coming from Earth 3 to Earth. And these are alternate versions of the Justice League, basically. So instead of Superman, you have Ultraman, you have Owlman, you have Johnny Quick instead of the Flash, Atomica, and you have Superwoman. So you have these counterparts from Earth 3 that are evil. So they come in, and that kicks off Forever Evil. Now, Forever Evil is really the story of Lex Luthor. And overall, it's basically a way for Geoff Johns to explore the villains and the rogues. They actually take center stage because the Justice League is actually missing for most of this Forever Evil. So the crime syndicate from Earth 3 have taken over, and then the real question and what is explored by Forever Evil is how are the villains or how are the rogues going to respond to these crime syndicate coming in from Earth 3. So some of the villains, some of the rogues actually side with the crime syndicate, and other rogues decide to fight against them, led by Lex Luthor, and we really get this as Lex Luthor's story. In most of the issues, it's actually there's this narration from Lex Luthor, and in each issue, we actually get to know Lex Luthor in deeper, more complex ways. We hear about some of his backstory, we get to know him and his thoughts, the way that he kind of processes things. So it's really his story. So if you're interested in Lex Luthor, and if you're especially interested in the New 52 version of Lex Luthor that Geoff Johns is creating, you definitely need to check this out. It's really his story from beginning to end, and it gives him a really good character arc that really changes things in the New 52. There's also some nice plot tensions that Geoff Johns uses. I like Geoff Johns' writing overall, usually quite a bit. Here he has several pieces of suspense that he really kind of holds and builds throughout the storyline. So there's this hooded, tied-up figure that's brought from Earth 3, but we don't know who it is, and so there's kind of this mystery, and we can tell that it's going to be important who this guy is, but it's not revealed until the right moment, and then it really pays off well at the end. I won't say anything more than that. There's also the tension of where the Justice League is, where are they, what happened to them, are they going to be able to come back? So we kind of explore that mystery throughout. And there's also the mystery of what was it that destroyed Earth 3? Because the crime syndicate comes from Earth 3 basically because something has destroyed their world. So what is that? We start to see some hints of it, and by the end, the last page of Forever Evil, you need to read to it because that last page is an important one. It's a big one, and it's going to have some future ramifications. It's exciting. But Geoff Johns, he does a nice job of kind of reeling us in, getting us curious about what it is, and then it does pay off at the end, so that's really great. There's also some nice sub-stories. So Power Ring, who is the Earth 3 version of Green Lantern, he's really kind of a tragic, sad figure, and he's got some real emotional kick to his sub-story, so I really liked that part of it. And his Power Ring also is still around, still having an effect on the Justice League if you've been following the books after Forever Evil, so that's important to kind of check out. There's some really good stuff between Batman and Nightwing. One of my favorite parts of this book is Subject Bizarro. So this is one of Lex Luthor's specimens, experiments based on Superman's genetics and cloning. So he has this subject B0, which ends up being Bizarro, and I really like the characterization of Bizarro here. The way that Geoff Johns writes him gives him some real emotion and some real complexity, even for a Bizarro. It's really kind of amazing, but something I think you should check out if you're at all interested in Bizarro Superman. And then if you are curious about Black Adam, because that's been in the news a lot and Twitter a lot about The Rock playing Black Adam in an upcoming Shazam movie. Black Adam figures pretty prominently in this story, so if you want to check out what Black Adam's like in the New 52, you can see him here in Forever Evil. We also end up getting a new Cyborg, a Cyborg redesign, which I really like, the kind of newer, sleeker look to Cyborg. If you really want to get the full Cyborg story, though, you do need to read the Justice League tie-ins. So when I read this, I actually have the 7-part Forever Evil, which is in the graphic novel, but also Justice League 24 to 30 fills in a lot more of the gaps. It fills in Cyborg's story quite a bit. So if you want the full picture, pick up Justice League 24 to 30. But it hangs together as a story on its own if you just read Forever Evil. It's a complete story. You just don't get some of the details. Now, in terms of the art I thought was good, good enough to serve the story and move everything forward. It's very dark in tone and dark in color to represent the fact that the evil is kind of taken over. I have a couple complaints about the art. So Luthor's face and head shape, I feel like kind of changed from frame to frame sometimes. It sort of distracted me a little bit. And the other one was Sinestro. So Sinestro has some really great scenes, but I feel like David Finch doesn't quite have Sinestro figured out. I feel like sometimes he looks like a good Sinestro, and then on the same page or the next page, it won't look like Sinestro. It'll look different. It'll look like some guy. So that was kind of distracting. But overall, the art was good enough to really carry the story forward, and not too many complaints, just a few things here and there. So overall, I really enjoyed it. It's a good story. It's important for the New 52. It's a good exploration of some villain characters, and Batman, Nightwing, and some really good rising tension with really good payoffs. There's especially issue 6 out of the 7. That issue is just really well put together. It's perfect rising tension. There are two characters that are tied up and bound, but for different reasons and in different ways, and they're both kind of getting released in parallel. It's really effective storytelling. It's really well done by Geoff Johns. And I won't say who they are and I won't say what happens, but it ends up really leading to basically a great ending to issue 6 that leads you into issue 7 you really want to see how things resolve. So that was just really well done there. I think issue 6 is really kind of the best one in the series, and there are good payoffs in issue 7. And again, like I said, with Lex Luthor's story coming to a really good close. So I enjoyed it. It was even better the second time reading through, and it really leads into where the Justice League is now. So I definitely think it's a must-read if you're interested in the New 52 at all. And well done, so check it out.